Hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss the daily lead code practice challenge, which is the wiggle subsequence. It is the 376th problem in the lead code. So, a wiggle sequence is a sequence where the differences between successive numbers strictly alternate between positive and negative, and the first difference, if one exists, may be either a positive or a negative. So, a sequence with one element and a sequence with two non equal elements are trivially wiggle sequences. So, for example, the given array, that is 174925, is a wiggle sequence because the differences 6 minus 3, 5 minus 7 and 3 alternate between positive and negative. So in contrast, the next array which is given in the example, that is 14725 and 17455 are not wiggle sequences because the first one is not, because its first two differences are positive, that is difference between 4 and 1 is plus of 3 and 7 and 4 is plus of 3, whereas the second one is not, because the last two differences, that is difference between 5 and 4 comes out to be plus of 1 and difference between 5 and 5 is 0. So, according to the question, we are actually given an integers array num, and we are required to return the length of the longest wiggle subsequence of nums. So let's discuss this with the help of an example. So here is our example. So we are given an array that is 1, 7, 5, 10, 13, 15, 10, 5, 6, and 8, 16 and 8. So typically, according to what we are given in the question, we are ought to find a pattern in the differences, something like this, and a sharp increase and a sharp decrease pattern, something like a mountain, something like a scenery which we used to draw when we were in a KG. So now let's just discuss about the sequence which we are which we are given over here. So talking about the difference between the first two elements, it comes out to be positive of 16, as the first number is less than the second one. So the second difference comes out to be minus of 12, because 5 minus 17 comes out to be minus of 12. So at first the difference pattern basically increased, and at the second instance it decreased sharply. So talking about the difference between 5 and 10, 10 and 5, it comes out to be plus of 5. So according to the according to the pattern that we are actually desire according to the desirable pattern which we are required to find, so the difference pattern increased sharply, whereas for the next one, that is between 13 and 10, it comes out to be plus of 3. So it is, at this point, the difference is increasing, which is actually not required according to our question. So at first, this element is also part of a wiggle sequence, this element is also part of a wiggle sequence, this one is again the part, and this one is also the part, but this 13 is not part of a wiggle sequence because it has violated the rule of wiggle sequence, that is, at this point the difference didn't decrease, that is, the difference didn't decrease as in trend with the previous previous difference. So talking about the next elements, that is 15 and 13. So again the difference is an increasing difference, so which is not in trend with the previous one, that is, at this point the difference must decrease. So this point will also not contribute to the length of our wiggle sequence. So, talking about the next difference, that is between 10 and 15, it comes out to be minus of 5. So, the difference here decrease. So, at this point, we can say, so if we want, we can basically ignore both of these points, and and directly jump to this point 10, which will actually contribute to the wiggle subsequence. That is the trend which is given in the question. So talking about the next difference, that is between 5 and 10, which comes out to be, oh I'm sorry, which comes out to be minus of 5. So again this is again a strictly decreasing sequence over here. So this point, so this element will also not contribute to our wiggle sequence. So hence we can basically discard this element. So talking about the next difference, that is between 16 and 5, which comes out to be plus of 11. So it will contribute to the wiggle sequence as the difference over here is strictly increasing as in trend with the question. So by this we can actually discard this point um, from a calculation, because we can discard both of these as well, because it is not in trend with the question that we are actually required to solve. So till now we have found five elements which are following the wiggle sequence trend. So talking about the last one, I'm sorry, it's not five. It's these are six. These are six. This is also contributing to the wiggle sequence. Sorry, it's actually five only. Like the five differences we have found over here, which are contributing to this trend. So talking about the last difference, that is between 16 and 8, which comes out to be negative of 8. So here the difference trend will starkly decrease as of the trend which is given in the question. So from here we can find out that so this difference will also contribute to the wiggle sequence. So till now our so basically our six differences are contributing to the trend which is given in the question. So typically we can solve this question with the help of two variable method. Like for example, first one, let me just move this text box over here. Let's just discuss over here. So basically we can take two variables, that is up, when the difference will go when the difference will actually be increasing, will be in will contribute when the difference between elements comes out to be a positive. And next one we can take as down. That is, I need to insert the second text box. That is down. So this down variable, we will we will in, we will increment when our difference comes out to be negative between the elements. So talking about the first element, as if we are given in the question, a sequence with one element will uh, will be trivially a wiggle sequence. So as we can say, the first element in our question can basically contribute either to a positive difference or to a negative difference. So we will initialize both of our variables to 1. Okay. Since since when our difference will increase, suppose the difference of so the difference at this point which you have contributed is an increasing is an increasing difference. So by default at this point we will assume, according to the given trend in the question, that the difference before that is somewhat decreasing. So So the further, so in the iterative approach, our up variable will actually increase by the formula up is equal to down plus 1, and vice versa is true for down, that whenever our difference is decreasing at any point, so we are assuming that a different that the pattern of differences before it is already increased, so our down variable will increase by up plus 1. And also there is a possibility for elements of the array to be equal, so in that case our up and down both will not increase at all. That is, at that point the value of up and down will remain as it is. So now taking our so now dry running this approach again, so the difference between both of these elements, that is 1 and 17, comes out to be plus of 16. So our up will increase by down plus 1, that is 2. It will come out to be 2, and our down will remain the same, that is 1. And for the second difference, that is between 5 and 17, our difference comes out to be minus of 12. So it is a decreasing sequence, so our down will increase by up plus 1, that is 2 plus 1, which is equal to 3, and our up will remain as it is. So talking about the difference between 5 and 10, which is plus of 5. So so it is again an increasing sequence after a decreasing decreasing trend. So our up will increase by down plus 1, that is it will come out to be 4, and this will remain 3. So difference between 10 and 13 as it is comes out to be plus of 3. So in this case our sequence is strictly increasing. So our up will remain as it is, that is down plus 1, that is 3 plus 1 4, and our down will remain as it is. And so talking about 13 and 15, the difference between both of these elements comes out to be plus of 2. So the sequence of so the trend of difference between both of these elements comes out to be comes out to be strictly increasing. So our up will remain as it is, that is 4, down plus 1 4, and our down will not will our up will come out to be down plus 1, that is 4, and our down will remain as it is. So talking about the difference between 15 and 10, so here the difference comes out to be minus of 5. So in this difference we'll observe a decreasing trend. So when we observe a decreasing trend, so our down will increase by up plus 1. So the current value of up is 4, and that is 4 plus 1. Our down comes out to be 5, and our up remains as it is, that is 4. So talking about the difference between 10 and 5, it comes out to be minus of 5. So here also we will observe a decreasing trend. So our down will come out to be up plus 1, that is 4 plus 1 5, and since no upward trend is observed in the array, so our up will remain as it is. So talking about the difference between 5 and 16, so it will come out to be plus of 12. So at this point we have observed the increasing trend in our array. So when we observe an increasing trend, as of we know, so our up variable will increase by down plus 1, that is 5 plus 1, which is equal to 6, and our down will remain as it is, that is 5. So talking about the difference between the last two successive elements, that is 16 and 8, it comes out to be minus of 8. So, and in this difference we can observe a downward trend, which is according to the trend which we want in the question. So our down variable will increase by up plus 1, that is 7, because the current value of up is 6, and up will remain as it is. So the final answer will be the maximum of both of these elements. So finally our answer is 7, and hence this is the right answer. So now let's code it quickly after having this discussion. So first of all we will store the size of the nums array in some variable n, and as of given in the second statement, that sequence with one element and a sequence with two non-equal elements are trivially wiggle sequences. So if the value of n is less than 2, basically it will return the same as it is. So now we are taking two variables, that is up and down, both of them initialized to 1. And so now for integers of, we will start with the next element, because we know that the first element can be part of any of the sequences, that is either an increasing or a decreasing. So that element will actually contribute to each and every sequence. So plus plus, and if nums of I greater than nums of, that is the current element is greater than the previous one, so we will increase the up value by plus 1. Else if nums of I, that is the current element, is less than the previous one, so our down variable will increase by up plus 1. Why we have used an else if over here? Because there is quite a possibility that we will face that both the previous and the current elements are equal. So in that case we are not required to increment either up or down. So that's why I've used an else if over here. And finally our answer will be uh, maximum of up comma. So let's just run this code. Oh, it's max of see, code just ran. Now we try to submit the code. So hence it ran really faster. It's faster than 100% of the online submissions for the Biggle subsequence, and consumes very less memory. So I hope all of you like this video, and if you're new to my channel, please subscribe the channel. And for any of the feedbacks regarding the video, please do please do please do write them in the comment section. I'll be happy for the improvement. Thank you so much.